We have a visitor today. Say hi. Hello there, beautiful souls. Welcome or welcome back to the Living Simplyy channel. In today's video, I want to share with you the major trends, cycles, and energetics of 2022, as well as the major transits for the next 2 months, so January and February. If we haven't met yet, hello, my name is Fatty and I'm a holistic astrologer on a mission to help you reawaken to your true inner divinity. If this is your first time here, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and join this beautiful community, this growing community, so that we can expand our consciousness, share more resources and insights with one another. Speaking of 2022 cannot be done without a honorable mention to 2020. I know, do not shoot the messenger. I know that this is not the year that you want to be hearing about today, but it was actually the beginning of this 7-year transformation cycle that we are now in on a collective level. So it all began with a Saturn and Pluto conjunction. So think of it as the planet of restrictions, life challenges, and authority colliding with the other planet that represents power and transformation, death. Manipulation, also lies, deceit. I'm speaking of the lower expression of these two planets. So when they collided, this tainted our experience of 2020. And then in 2021, we had a Saturn and Uranus square that is still ongoing today. And it expressed itself not through top-down hierarchies and systems and restrictions like we saw in 2020, but rather building on that as a old versus new paradigm. So today our society is polarized. We are living in a split timeline. This is something that astrologers have been foreseeing for ages, way before 2019 and 2020. And something that I mentioned in one of my earlier videos about coronavirus, just how there is a split in consciousness from 3D to 5D. And both timelines are existing at the same time. On one hand, you have the lower expression of Saturn, which is somehow tyrannical. This is an authoritarian, totalitarian regime. This is the old structure not wanting to decay. This is top-down, forceful energy, literally. And then you have the Uranian type of energy that can also be disruptive because it's rebellious, it's chaos, it's anti-conformism, it's not accepting what we are told just because we are told. It's finding new ways to create, new ways to collaborate, to create, to consume, to live. Literally thinking outside of the box to create something better for all humanity. So by this little segment here, I want to tell you this. If you have been waiting for the end of COVID or for the end of the restrictions that you are now experiencing, 2022 is not the year. So hold on to that wish and keep on wishing for that and keep on working towards that, because yes, maybe from 2023, when Saturn moves away from Aquarius, and so we won't have this square with Uranus as hard. There will be other transits, of course, but maybe the experience, the quality of time on a collective level will be different. But for now, this year 2022 is not going to be the return to normal. It is going to be about you. It is going to be about your growth, your healing, and your empowerment. This is what 2022 is all about. One of the big lessons that we're going to have to take in this year 2022 is the importance of making choices. See, whatever choice you made back in 2020 or 2021, and whatever choices and decisions you will be making in the upcoming months, there's always a price for that. Even if you're making the right and good decision, there's always a price that comes along with it. And part of being adult, or part of being a good and decent human being, good is not the word here, but part of being responsible and sovereign over yourself is assuming these consequences and knowing that you are going to stick by your choice whatever happens. Of course, we can all grow and learn from our mistakes and change our minds, but what I mean by this is that you're gonna have to learn how to deal with the choices that you made this year, because I see a lot of karmic things karmic transits, karmic themes happening, especially mid 2022 until the end of the year. I will be speaking about that in further videos. Do not hesitate to subscribe. I say it again if you want to know more about this. But all I have to say is that this year is filled with karma. So work on your choice making, on your decisions. Do not be flaky. Like, pick a side. Literally pick a side. Do not be in polarization mode, of course, but do take a stand for something. If you believe in something, go about it at full length. 2022 is going to be a year of extremes, okay? This is going to be a year where at the same time, you're going to have people who are panicking, people who are in fear. You're going to have a mass psychosis, the mass psychosis that we're kind of living right now. It's going to amplify, and there's going to be massive shocks and, truths coming to the light, and revelations and disclosures and closure on certain topics. And at the same time, massive awakening for the people coming together, people recognizing other like-minded folks, and communities, kind of growing from the ground up. This is going to be an amazing time if you want to focus your energy in this timeline, in this high vibrational timeline where love, humanity, and support are the foundation. If you want to focus on fear, you're going to be filled with fear all throughout 2022 because, it's going to be a fucking mayhem. So please focus your energy on what you want to grow, on the things and areas in your life that you want to see flourish, because wherever energy goes, wherever attention goes, energy flows. That's it. Another thing about 2022, I am keeping my eyes wide open about the economics and the market, the economical market, if you want. There's two reasons. The first one is rather logical. It's not astrological. It's just that we are living in a system that's built on exponential growth and limited resources. So it is only logical that there is a time and point in history where there is a crash or a kind of collapse of it all, because we have been using our resources and kind of hiding the fact that there's major inflation and manipulation of numbers. The governments are hiding the fact that we are now living the highest rate of inflation ever throughout history. There has never been this much money around, but it's money made out of thin air. It has no value. So I do think that 2022 is going to be kind of tricky in terms of economics globally. And the second reason is really astrological. So in 2022, it is going to be the US Pluto chart return, the Pluto return of the US chart. So Pluto is going to return to the same place it was 250-ish years ago when the United States were birthed. And as you all know, the United States do affect, because they're such a major economical and political country, they do affect the rest of the world. So I am seeing and expecting a lot of changes in their structures, in their monetary things, maybe something similar to what happened in 2008, I don't know. But I'm keeping my eyes wide open, and I am very curious to see how that expresses itself. The second thing in astrology that indicates a little bit of change in terms of how we deal with money, and how we save, and how we consume, and how we eat, and how we deal with finances and resources is the fact that the nodal shift is happening in the axis of Taurus and Scorpio. And Taurus and Scorpio deal with matter. So Taurus deals with physical matter, and Scorpio deals with the depth, the matter that transforms and transcends into something else. And because of this, I am really, really excited about new ways of doing things, new alternatives to how we have been consuming over the past years. Also, I think it is good for me to do a little bit of a disclaimer here. This video is not financial advice. It is not here to install fear in you or in any way. It is here to give you the tools that you need. This is what astrology does. It tells you that tomorrow is gonna rain. It doesn't tell you don't go out. It just gives you the information. And whatever you do with that information is up to you. We've been speaking about choice. It's up to you. You make your decision. And all I'm saying is, when you know that there's a certain thing brewing behind the scenes, it makes it easier for you to move in a more aligned way. So to end this first segment on a good note, I want to speak to you about the transits of Jupiter, which are going to be amazing this year. These are going to be the major transits, of the year. Basically, Jupiter going back and forth is going to be a major thing. And last year in 2021, it was in Aquarius. Jupiter was in Aquarius, so we were in that rebellious free thinker mode, thinking, oh yeah, this system is not working anymore, we want to break out of the matrix. That was kind of the vibe. Now it is in Pisces, so Jupiter is in Pisces, and it is going to stay there until mid 2022, where it's going to move into Aries. I will be making a video specially dedicated to Jupiter later, but what I'm trying to say here is that this shift is going to transform us from visionaries to dreamers, and we're actually going to start dreaming and imagining and visualizing what this new earth can look like. Say we are not agreeing with our top-down structures and mandates and whatever. How can we build better? And it doesn't have to be on the collective level. I am not agreeing with, my lifestyle. I don't, we could think of it on an individual level as well. What are the things that you can imagine better for yourself? And because Jupiter represents all the good things and the blessings of life, I think that this year 2022 can really bless us in such amazing ways, especially because Pisces has to deal with spirituality and compassion. On the lower expression of Pisces, we do have delusions, hospitals, and isolation, things like that. So I do hope that on the 3D level we do not see further isolation of people and further mass hypnosis and mass psychosis amongst people. So yes, do stay safe, do stay sane, and focus that spirituality within you into what matters, because trust me, your dreams are going to manifest this year. They have a big potentiality for manifesting. So do use that current, that momentum once you're in it. And once Jupiter moves into Aries throughout the end of the year, trust me, we're then going to be able to make bold moves. And I am so excited to see that they happen. So before I jump into the major transits of January and February, I want to touch base on the numerology of 2022. So there's two components to it. There is number 2, because we have 222 repeated, and we also have what we call the universal year number, which is number 6, if you add the 3 2s together. So let's begin with number 2. Number 2 is related to otherness. This is a feminine number. It is related to compassion, to balance, peacekeeping, mediation, and harmony. This is really a number that's all about the divine feminine and how it can express itself. It's about coming together and taking other people as ourselves. And this is something that we need so desperately right now. See, remember what I mentioned about the lower expression of Capricorn, which can be authoritarian and top-down, forceful energy coming our way. This is exactly what we can do to replace that energy, to create something different. It is to focus on relating with others, with connecting to like-minded people. So if you are on your own, if you are celibate, I think this year could be a great year for you to attract your soulmate. And if you are in a committed relationship, this is an amazing year for deepening that bond and going beyond and literally embracing other people. And it doesn't have to be romantic, actually. It can be attracting like-minded people and tribes, communities, flourishing all over the world. That's what I see for 2022. That's what my intuition tells me, and also what number 2 represents. Now let's take a look at the universal year number. So 2022 is number 6, is number 6 year. Last year in 2021 we had a 5 year, and oh boy, oh boy, because 5 you see represents excitement, new adventures, new stuff, etc. But it also represents instability, shaky grounds, and major anxiety attacks. Like, it's really a Mercury type of energy. It's really anxiety based. And boy, did that year, 2021, was filled with surprises and shocks and things that just were not grounded enough. So this year we have a major shift in energy. This is a year 6, and 6 represents responsibility and service. This is the number of gaining wisdom, gaining experience through life in order to nurture others, to care for others, and for self. At the same time, number 6 can also have a lower expression. This can be self-righteousness, jealousy, and being overly materialistic. And I really wish you stay clear from that this year, but it can be expressed in society in some shape or form. And do not forget that in monotheistic religions, number 6 is linked with the devil, and especially with the mark of the devil that has a 666 energy into it. It's not actually the numbers, it just has that energy with it. And as someone who believes that we are actually living the end of days, not the end of days per se, but the end of an era, the end of an epoch, and the beginning of something new, I do think that there is a high chance and high probability, and what I'm gonna say next only includes me, this is my point of view and opinion. I do think that there is a high chance of seeing way more people sell their souls to the devil and get the mark of the beast, if they haven't yet already. And the mark of the beast is not a treatment or whatever, it's a moral and spiritual contract. This is what I mean by the mark of the beast. It is not a thing per se, but it is relinquishing your power, relinquishing your authority, your inner authority, and giving it to other people, other structures, other parties to do that for you, to build you for you. So yeah, that could happen in 2022, but because number 6 is related to this feeling of being empowered, to this feeling of being of service to the world, I do strongly believe that there is a high chance as well of people awakening to their force, to their power, to their magic, to their beauty, and taking that in, you know, trusting their intuition to go inwards. And if you're as excited as me about numbers and numerology, please make sure to watch my video on the topic Numerology 101. Right? Okay, let's go straight into the transits of 2022, especially the ones in January and February. I will be splitting my screen and reading some of my notes. And before we dive in, 2 things I have to say. 1, if you want to skip to a specific date, there's timestamps all over the video, so just go to the time thingy and you're gonna be good. And also, if you want a written version or report of this video is inspired by one of my articles in my blog, the livingsimplyy.com blog, and I will be leaving the link in the description box, so you can go there and find everything written and actually more in depth than what I'm saying right now. But let's do it. Let's begin. So we began this year with a Venus retrograde in Capricorn. This is an ongoing retrograde. And we actually have a stellium. A stellium is when we have multiple planets in the sign, in the same sign. And this time around, it's all happening in Capricorn. So the sea goat, the energy of practicality, of inner authority, of sustainable, serious, heavy stuff is extra filled. And this is what we started 2022 with. So work. That's the energy. And not work necessarily as in going to work, but working on ourselves, working on our family, working on our projects, working on society. This is the theme that we began this month with. Because Venus deals with beauty, with values, with resources and finances, and because it is in retrograde, there's a re-evaluation of these themes going on. This is a great time to actually rethink how we relate with finances, how we relate with ourselves, with what's our self-worth, our relationship to resources and values. What are our values? What do we believe in? This was the crucial theme for this beginning of the year, because this is what's going to help us move with much more clarity. If we don't know what are our values and where we stand, we cannot properly function. So use this time correctly. I hope you're using this time correctly. So the second exciting transit, actually it's not exciting, it's scary. The scariest transit of January is the Mercury retrograde period that's actually going from January 14th to February 3rd in Aquarius and Capricorn. And by the way, both these two signs that are actually very famous right now because Saturn is in Aqua and so many planets are in Capricorn, these two signs are ruled by Saturn in traditional astrology, of course. So I'm feeling a little bit of a karmic feel to this period. So I'm thinking a lot of things, a lot of ideas of people, of conversations are going to come back from the past, things that we kind of rushed through. That's the gist of it. And I'm going to go into much detail about this Mercury retrograde in one of my future videos. Actually, by the time this video is going to be out, you're probably going to be able to find it on my channel. So stay tuned for that. And also, if you want to know exactly and precisely where this Mercury retrograde is going to hit you in your life, in which area, do locate where Capricorn and Aquarius fall in your birth chart, which house it falls under, and do you have any planets there. And if you have no idea what I'm speaking about, I have a free guide that you can use. It's called How to Read Your Own Birth Chart. I will put a link in the description box. And of course, if you want to take it a step further, do not hesitate to book a birth chart reading with me. I would love to work with you and show you what the stars have in store for you. On January 18th, we have Uranus direct in Taurus. So after months of retrogrades, now Uranus is back into motion. So after we've had time to think how we consume, how we eat, how we spend our money, how we do this. I mean, some people I know have been spending the past months thinking, if studying and researching crypto and kind of thinking, wait, is my financial literacy up to date? And this is really one of the manifestations of this transit. So I'm really happy about Uranus going direct, because now we can put those new ways of thinking and new ideas that we have in our mind into practice. So this is a good time to kind of move forward about those outside of the box ideas that you have. On January 18th, also, the lunar nodes enter Taurus and Scorpio. And boy, I spoke a little bit earlier about this when I was speaking about the market and economy. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of increase of themes related to Taurus because the North Node is in Taurus. So the North Node represents what we are called to go towards. This is what humanity is going for. We are striving for learning new ways to deal and cope with natural resources, food, values, material possessions, basic needs, but also, and not limited to, lands and borders. So in a way, I do think that this is a cosmic invitation to kind of go back to simpler things, to simplify things, and embracing the slow living movement. This is something I'm super into right now. So I'm really excited to see how that unfolds. And exiting the matrix, living sustainably, living off grid, even prepping, learning how to be self-sustainable. All of these are things that are going to be even more important from January 18th, I can guarantee that. On January 29, we have Venus stationing direct in Capricorn. Like, baby, this is exciting news. No more going back and forth. No more overthinking certain things. That's it. C'est bon. We got it. Now we can move forward and we are clearer about what we love and what we want and our values, our finances, and how we want to do things. And also, our relationship to hierarchy, because Pluto is conjunct Venus in Capricorn. So yeah, there's a lot of correlations there. So now we know what we want. On January 29, I can see a very much uplifting quality of time, and we can begin to build steadier and more firmer grounds, if you want, and more solid structures and base, so that we can move and not rush, but actually move into 2022 with much ease and clarity. February 2nd is a 2-2-2-2-2 day. If you are as excited as I am about palindromes, which are actually amazing because to me they're portals. If you love numerology, if you love this type of thing, you're gonna love this day. If you want to mend a relationship, to go on a date, it's a perfect time to use this 2 energy and fill it into whatever you do, if you do it in a mindful and conscious way, of course. But also, and the reason why I put this date here, although it's not an actual transit, I have the launch of my new project. This is a secret project I've been working on, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna start dropping hints, you know, all the way through February 2nd. So do follow me on Instagram if you want to know more about that. There's a thing about English, because it's not my mother tongue, I am not used to pronouncing the dates. So as an example, February 2022, no wait, February 22? I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it February 2020th? This, listen, this, on this day, on the 22nd day of February, we're gonna have the Pluto return for the US chart. And actually, we're gonna be able to confirm if this is the accurate US chart or not, based on the orb and the effect. But we do know that the Pluto return is this year, that is for sure. But if it's specifically this day, we don't know, but this is the most common hypothesis, if you want, amongst astrologers. And to give you the gist of the story, Pluto has a long cycle. So no one experiences his own Pluto return during his lifetime, because Pluto takes about 250, 225, I think, years to complete a full circle around the Zodiac and to come back on the place it was. And on February 22nd, I guess, the United States will undergo their first Pluto return. And boy, since 1776, this is going to be something that we're going to be massively waiting for. Pluto is the planet of death, of transformation, of power, of the underworld, and also it regulates the economical markets, because it has this 8th house energy, which is related to Pluto. And because of this, many astrologers, including myself, this year are expecting fluctuations in money, currency. So yep, February 22nd, I'm excited for that one. The good news is Pluto expresses and exposes secrets and abusive or manipulative types of relationships and dynamics. So it's only a matter of time before there's like a bomb dropping and the light being, you know, flushed into the darkness, showing us where things were hidden, where things were corrupt, where things were vile. So yeah, hold on tight and make sure to make smart money moves until then. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, January and February are not just the transit that I mentioned. This is just the super condensed transit review. There's a lot more. There's new moons and full moons and your personal transits and whatnot happening. So stay open-minded, stay grateful, stay focused on your goals and what you want to achieve, and I am certain that you will get there. You will be able to manifest by the end of this year. I can guarantee that you will succeed at whatever you put your mind to if you commit to it. Thank you so much for being here. Do not hesitate to subscribe. As always, make sure to DM me on Instagram, comment down below, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye bye.